What's going on, everybody? We got some huge Final Fantasy VII news yesterday. There's a lot of stuff going on, but there's two things that I care about, and that is the Crisis Core, kind of like, I don't know if I want to call it a remake, but Crisis Core is coming to consoles now, and this is something that I've been asking for since I played the original Crisis Core back on the PSP. Crisis Core is definitely one of my favorite games of all time. Obviously, which really is probably a #1 spot is Final Fantasy VII, the original Final Fantasy VII back on the PS1. And you know, there's a bunch of other games in there. The Crisis Core is right up there with another favorite game of mine. And you know, I no longer have a PSP. You know, my PSP was damaged. Unfortunately, a whole bunch of laundry detergent leaked on my PSP and got inside of the system and in the battery compartment and everything. And it got into my, what were they called? Like UMDs or something? My Crisis Core actual disc. So that stuff got completely destroyed. It was a very sad time because I still played that game around the time that was happening. You know, I would play it at work, wherever I was. I just love Crisis Core. The music, the story, the characters, the voice acting. You know, just, I love that game. This is how much, I got Genesis, Angel, and Zack on my arm. Obviously, I have Sephiroth. I got a bunch of other Final Fantasy characters that I'm working on. Anyway, I don't want to ramble too long in the beginning here. First, we're going to go ahead and watch the Crisis Core trailer. And I'm probably going to give a little bit of my thoughts on it. And then after that, we're going to watch the Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 trailer. So I was going to do two separate videos for this, but I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and bunch them together. So let's go ahead and start the video.
Boy, oh boy. The price of freedom is steep. Zack speaking.
Making progress, Zack?
Angel. I can cut loose, right?
Within reason.
It's showtime!
Soldier First Class Genesis. A month ago, he went missing during a mission in Wutai.
You know, I've never actually seen you use that. Don't you think it's sort of a waste?
Use brings about wear, tear, and rust, and that's a real waste.
Project G gave birth to the man we know as Genesis.
Project G.
Project Genesis.
Settle down, Zack the puppy. What do you know?
Shit, lapdogs! Heaven?
Not quite. It's a church.
By the way, what is your dream? To become first? Is it?
No, to become a hero.
Ah, good. Unattainable dreams are the best kind.
Embrace your dreams. And whatever happens, protect your honor. As soldier! Come and get it!
All right, so immediately got some thoughts there. What really struck me first was the change of voice actor. I noticed immediately that the voice actor is different. And they did change a lot of the voice actors, actually. And I kind of hate when they change voice actors. They do this a lot. You know, we've seen it happen with Metal Gear and Final Fantasy. The thing about that is, like, I understand changing a voice actor if there's a reason, like if somebody passed away or you're going in a different direction creatively. But the Final Fantasy voice actors have been the same for like so long, you know. Advent Children, freaking Kingdom Hearts. It was something else. There's a lot of different Final Fantasy 7 mediums. The voice actors were always the same. You know, now with Crisis Core, we had Crisis Core on PSP. That was the only entry that, as far as I know of, that really used Zack. Maybe he might have been in other games, but I'm not really familiar. But, you know, it's just like when you get used to certain people playing a character's voice, it's very weird and alienating to hear a different voice. Like they changed Sephiroth's voice actor, they changed Cloud's voice actor. And it's weird because the Japanese voice actors, a lot of the times, they stay the same. They're the same people who've been playing these characters. But on the English side of things, they tend to change the voice characters up, and I just don't understand why they do that. So Zack's voice is a little weird to me. It's not as Jubilee, and like he just had a certain vibe back on the PSP. And those of you who played it, you know what I'm talking about. Like Zack was very like just upbeat and heroic and Jubilee, and he had a lot more energy. This guy is kind of on a lower register energy wise, but I get it. You know, they changed the voice actors in the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I guess they were going for a more serious tone or whatever. It was just like, can't you just tell the people who already played the characters, just give them a little bit of different direction? Anyway, like, what can you do? They changed the voice actor. What else did I notice? The music sounded good. It sounded different a little bit. And I noticed, as far as the character's facial expression, like the cheek, around the cheekbones and the eyes area, in those areas, it wasn't a lot of movement and stuff going on. But, you know, I'm not nitpicking it. I'm okay with it, you know, because this is something that I've been asking for a long time, you know. And it's just like, it's kind of the timing of it. And this is what I think is going to happen. We've been asking for this for so long, and all of a sudden they decide to bring it out now. The reason I think they're doing that is they're probably going to change a little bit of things in there, because obviously, if you're here, you played the remake already. You know that we see Zack in the remake. So maybe they're going to try to put something in there. Even we saw Zack is like carrying Cloud towards Midgar, which, you know, if you played Crisis Core, that didn't happen. So there's a lot of change. They're doing a lot of changes here, which isn't a direct HD remaster. And I know they're trying to play on the whole remake thing, which, you know, at first, and I'm still kind of not like, I don't know, it bothers me. Like, obviously I played Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1, and just getting to the end and seeing all the changes that they made, it was just like, what is going on? What is this, man? I was a little upset, I'm not gonna lie. You know, and I'm still kind of weirded out about it. But I get it. Like, they don't want to just make a direct remake. They want to do something different, right? Which I'm okay with. It's just like, can you at least just give us some kind of HD remaster that's like exact for the people who like the original stuff, the exact way that it is. Just, all you gotta do is bump up the graphics. You don't have to change nothing. But, you know, whatever, you know, it's like, I'm getting used to the idea. Like, I'm not gonna like it, but I'm gonna play it. Obviously, you know, I'm a huge fucking Final Fantasy VII fan, so I'm gonna play it. But it's just like you change stuff that was great about the originals. And like I say, I understand. You know, they don't want to just wait all this time and do a direct remaster or direct copy of what has come before. And it is a cool idea, yeah. But at the same time, it's like, and what's up with this cell phone game? Like, okay, you got this cell phone game. This even looks kind of cool, but who wants to play a cell phone game? I know cell phone games are big in Japan, but it's like, bro, if you can do that for a cell phone, what can you just make an actual legit like remaster, bump it up or whatever, release that, and then say, okay, now we doing this on the side. Anyway, let's move on. Wait, did I cover everything about Crisis Core? No, I didn't. Hold on. So combat, right? I couldn't tell if the combat was the same. It looked a little different, like it got a little bit of a change, but I did see some familiar things. I know a lot of people didn't like the slot system. Whatever, you know, like it didn't really bother me that much. And that's the thing, like this game came out in 2007, right? So you got to think a lot of gameplay mechanics from times in the past. You know, when you remake stuff and you bring stuff into current time, you know, it's going to age differently. You know, that's just, it is what it is, you know. So, you know, I'm just happy. Like, there's some nitpicky stuff, and I couldn't really tell if Genesis, you know, they used the likeness of Gact. Gact is a very famous person, G-A-C-K-T. If you guys don't know who that is, you can look him up. I'm not really gonna get into the explanation of who he is and what he does and everything, but they use the likeness of Gact for Genesis. Now this, I can't really tell if it's still his likeliness. Sometimes, some of the shots I saw in the trailer, it did kind of look like him, but other shots, he looked a little weird to me. So I don't know if it's him or not. There's, you know, all the behind the scenes licensing, whatever, bro. It's just like when you make a game, it should be a product that's forever set in time. Like, what does it fucking matter? Like, anyway, let's move on to the Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 trailer. Let's go ahead and pull that up here. Here we go.
What we've done, that's set in stone. The past is forever. But the future, even if it has been written, can be changed. So focus on the future, not the past.
He wants to finish what he started. He wants to reclaim his birthright and rule over the planet with Genova at his side. I saw you lying there. I figured it was too late.
Wait, what are you implying? That I died? That I'm some kind of imposter?
You were here with me 5 years ago. Where are you? What happened to you?
I'm trying so hard to find you.
Sorry. Feel like I failed you.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. All right, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is part 2 of the remake. They stated that there is going to be 3 parts to it. As you know, I'm excited for it, obviously. Like I said, I'm a huge Final Fantasy VII fan. Played the original back in 1997. I think I was around 8 years old at that time. I used to just keep replaying that game over and over and over and over again. It was like the only game I had on PlayStation. I loved it. And been a fan ever since. You know, all the different mediums that I could get my hands on for Final Fantasy VII, whether it be, you know, avid children or seeing the characters in other games, Dissidia, you know, all kinds of stuff, man. Voice acting, obviously, like I stated before, they changed the voice actors in English. So, you know, me being an OG Final Fantasy VII fan, you know, I'm used to the old voice actors. So when I played the remake, I put the voices in Japanese because the English voices just weren't doing it for me personally. Obviously, to each his own. So I'm gonna do the same thing with this part. Just rather hear it in Japanese, because even when I used to watch Advent Children, I would watch it in English and I would watch it in Japanese. I watched both versions of it, so I know what the characters are supposed to sound like for each version. So to me, Japanese doesn't bother me as much as English when it comes to Final Fantasy VII, because the English voice actors are so cemented in my mind of what they're supposed to sound like, that, you know, I just can't hear them any other way. Yeah, exactly. Like, the different versions. George Newbern is the guy that I know that played Sephiroth. And I think, who played Cloud? His name is like right on the tip of my tongue. Let me see. No, that wasn't the guy. The guy that played Cloud. Jeez, man. Hold on. No, man. Who's the old Cloud voice actor? Was it Steve Burton? Was it Steve Burton? Yeah, I think it was Steve Burton. So, just hearing anybody else play these, yeah, that was him. Steve Burton. George Newbern and Steve Burton. Those are my Cloud and my Sephiroth for English. Let's think about, okay, so we need to go over what are my thoughts about this, man. As usual, the graphics look good, and I think we'll only be able to play this on PS5, so hopefully by then everybody will have their hands on the PS5. We got a lot of juicy content to play until these titles come out, you know. Think about this, we're gonna probably have God of War, and we're gonna have the Crisis Core remake or whatever you wanna call it. We might get Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 before then. I think we are, actually. So there's a lot of stuff to dig your teeth into and your claws into until that comes out. This trailer didn't really show much, except that Zach, your boy Zach, is like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to spoil too much. I know a lot of people haven't played Crisis Core, so I don't want to say too much on that subject. But yeah, so, you know, you see Sephiroth walking in the background. It's just, for me, it's too much. Like I stated before, it's too much Sephiroth, man. In the original, you didn't see Sephiroth that much in these first phases of the game. You know, you didn't really see Sephiroth. You might have seen a flashback or something like that, but you don't really get this. This is like oversaturated with Sephiroth right out of the gate. And it kind of, to me, in my opinion, it takes away from the buildup of seeing him later. You know what I mean? He's just like in your face throughout the entire playthrough, and it's just like it takes away. And they had this big boss fight in the beginning, in the first part, and I was like, that kind of takes away from the big gigantic boss battles later, like when you fight the weapons and stuff like that. So, you know, there's some stuff that I don't like there's some things that I do like, you know, but, and I would probably just have to do a review. I gotta replay the part one remake. Maybe do a review or a playthrough or something like that. Go over the pros and cons. I kind of just played it once and I was like, I had a little bit of a, you know, bad taste in my mouth. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just wait till part 2 is about to drop. I'm gonna replay part 1 and then go straight into part 2. But yeah, man. If y'all would like to see a playthrough of part 1, let me know. Am I excited for them? Yeah. You know, I'm as excited as I can be, you know. All the things that I love when it comes to like movies and games, you know, and stuff, they're being tampered with, they're being changed, you know, and this is the era of that, man. So this is like, you can remember it for what it was, have those great memories, those fond memories for what it was. You can always go back and play OG Final Fantasy VII. You can always go back and watch the old Star Wars movies. You know what I'm saying? You can always go back and play the older Metal Gear games somehow, you know, but those are just 3 things that I can think of off the top of my head. But anyway, man, like, yeah, stuff is gonna change. So I'm trying to keep an open mind about it. You know, they are changing it. If it turns out to be good and I might end up liking it later, so be it, you know. But let me know down in the comments, are you guys excited for Final Fantasy VII Part 2, which is, what is it called? Rebirth? And have you guys played Crisis Core before? If you haven't played Crisis Core before, are you excited or interested in playing it and getting to learn about Zack and a little bit of stuff that happened beforehand, before Final Fantasy VII? Are you looking forward to any other games to play within that time span that we have to wait until we can get our hands on both of these titles? So I didn't want to make this video too long because I gotta, trust me, I got a bunch of stuff that I could just rant and talk about. But more so, this was just to watch both of the trailers and kind of just give some of my thoughts out. But yeah, that's it. Like, I have my nitpicks and everything, but I am genuinely excited for both of them. So yeah, if you liked the video, leave a thumbs up, leave them comments, let me know your thoughts. And I will see you all in the next video.